What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It is the last day of June. It is Sunday, June 30th. We are back with another video. If you've never been here before, you're in for a treat. Hopefully you stick around. Hopefully you like the video. Hopefully you subscribe at the end. We do things a little bit differently. We're going to cover every single game on today. So we've got all the games. We've got an early game where, it's like a 10:35 a.m. Central game. We've got the Sunday Night Baseball game. We've got it all. And we're going to do things. We're going to try something else on top of what we do. So after everything, obviously, you've already seen the link to the video. It's a little bit longer. If you want an abbreviated version, click the link in the description, which will take you right to this article right here. We give you about 5 plays that we like at each position and some stacks at the end as well. So definitely check that out. If you got questions about it, I'm here to answer them. In the description of this video is the Discord link. Definitely get in there, ask questions. We do core plays there. We do a lot of things. You can sign up for FTA Plus, $10 a week, $30 a month if you use the promo code YouTube, all one word, all capital letters. Instead of $29.99 for the month, you can get it for $19.99 for your first month. We have a yearly pass, normally $200 if you use the promo code birthday, all one word, all capital letters. Instead of $199, you'll get the first year for $99. So definitely check it out. We also have a $500 lifetime pass, and you can win those passes every single video. We have 2 giveaways every video. Super easy giveaways. How do you win those giveaways, you're thinking? Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. That is a week of all content. Now, I believe there is no I don't think there's any MMA or golf for the next 2 weeks. I could be wrong. I did look at something. So it would just be a week of MLB and then NASCAR if there's a race next week, which I don't know if there is. I definitely have to check. But we'll move past that. If this video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes, a chance at a lifetime pass. Yesterday's video got over 100 likes, so we are going to pick a winner for a free month, and you can win every single day up into a lifetime pass. You can come back, you can win the same day as well. We've never had that before. The second way to win, somewhere in this video, I will have a keyword I will say. All you got to do is be on the lookout for that, listen for it, and then comment that as well, and you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. So we are going to see who the winners are real quick, and then we'll move on to everything else. So this is just to see who the winner is because we had 108 likes on yesterday's video. Michael Swick, he has won multiple times. This is all you got to do. You got to come back. You got to subscribe to this YouTube page, and you got to leave a comment. It's super easy. So, Michael, congratulations. Email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, just to let me know you saw this video, and we will get you set up for that free month on top of everything. Next one, the keyword yesterday was cup. So, anyone who types cup, we're going to re-roll it. It could be the same comment again. It could be a different one. So, we're going to re-roll it till we see the word cup in there, and that'll be the winner for the free week. Bills Mafia 1609, I need a cup of Joe. Yes, congratulations. Email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. If you already have a username on the website, let me know your username. If you do not, let me know a username and email you would like, and we will get you set up for that free week as well. So congratulations to both of you. It's that easy. It's that easy, guys. So, yes, I am wearing one of our merch. If you guys are interested, this is a baseball product merch for us, which it would help the channel immensely. If you can't subscribe, if you want to help the channel, you want to buy some merch, a nice baseball themed shirt. This is, you can't really tell this is salmon color. They come in multiple colors. That'll be linked down below as well. So that helps the channel out. And some free things that help the channel out, clicking on the ads. I know they're super annoying. It definitely helps us out though. All right, so that being said, the intro is done. We are going to check out every game. We're going to look at everything. We're going to break them down. So we can't play this game in DFS unless you're playing an all-day slate, which we're not going to. But you got Bailey Falter versus Spencer Schwellenbach. Now, we look at these batters. If you're playing if you're sports betting, if you're playing the single game, these stats might be helpful for you. But we just look at this. Atlanta, over their last 10 games, they've won 6 out of 10 for the money line. So they've covered the money lines the last past 2 games, and 6 out of 10. Atlanta, their run line, only 50% of the time. So 5 out of 10, they've got at least -1.5 for their run line. And then here's the thing. We look at the over-unders. The over has hit over 9.5 90% of the time. So, and we know generally that the Braves hit lefties well for the most part. So if we look at that, we kind of just look. Travis d'Arnaud's batting .279 with 4 home runs at .924 OPS. That jumps out to me right there. Ozzie Albies jumps out to me, batting .337 with an .880 OPS. He's got 3 home runs. Ozuna, .337 as well, batting .936 OPS. Has 3 home runs and 17 RBIs against a lefty. You got Matt Olson, even though it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup, .277 batting average, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, .862 OPS. You've got Adam Duvall, if he gets in there, he's got 6 home runs, 17 RBIs as well, batting .259. Ramon Laureano, it'd be a cheap option here against a lefty bat, .239, .707. Now, obviously, these are highlighted batters. These are some of the batter splits that we like. If you want to see them in their entirety, go to the MLB tab, go down to batter splits, and it breaks it down lefty on righty. It breaks everything down for you. So I wouldn't be using pitching. I mean, you have to for showdowns. And you can kind of see anyone who's had, certain teams that have certain BVPs, those are there as well. Orlando Arcia has a home run against Bailey Falter. Matt Olson has a home run. Jared Kelenic has a home run. Jared Kelenic's OPS against Bailey Falter, only 3 plate appearances, 2.667. So it's pretty big. Obviously, it's a 1 sample size. There's not a ton to go off of. So looking at this, I'm not using either of these pitcher. Obviously, we're not playing this one. I would look at a Braves stack over anything else. But then we get to the Padres at the Red Sox. First game on here, do have some weather concerns. Scares me a little bit. Not much else to go off of there. I did forget, at the end of this video, and maybe you've already seen in the chapters, we're going to give you the pitches be crazy. So we're going to give you the 5 top bats, or 5 top pitchers against the teams that strike out the most. Because there is a game to play over on Fanduel where you pick 3 pitchers. At the end of the video, we're going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. We do a total of 20,000 every single day. So I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention while we look at this. So we got Matt Waldron versus Winchowski. Now, Waldron's been really good lately. And this is kind of where, like, this main slate here we look at. The weather does scare me a little bit. Splits-wise does not face Boston this year. Pitching on the road actually has a better ERA on the road. And he's coming off 8 strikeout game against Washington, 20.7 there. He dominated and helped out anyone who picked him in the FanDuel contest his last start. Boston, they do strike out. They're in the top 5 of striking out. They're the 4th most strikeout team of the year so far. So we look at that. I do love Waldron here if he plays. Padres have just decimated Boston this year. The rain scares me a little bit. If I'm looking at this, I'm not really looking at offense for Boston. I would rather take the bats for San Diego. I'd rather look at Luis Ariz. He's batting .343 against righties. We know that. He doesn't matter who he's facing. He absolutely dominates. You got Cronenworth batting .286, has 11 home runs against righties this year. Love that. Ha-Seong Kim, 7 home runs, .241. Machado batting .279. Jackson Merrill has 8 home runs, 30 RBIs, and a .328 batting average against righties. I am all in as long as the weather's good. I'm all in on Matt Waldron, and I'm all in on a Padre stack against Winchowski, however you say his name. I do not trust him. If the game gets played, I'd rather have Waldron and a Padre stack here. Then we get the Marlins at the Phillies. We got Yonny Chirinos versus Ranger Suarez. I love Ranger Suarez here. You guys saw that. It's the picture of the video. It's the picture of the article. I don't want anything to do with Yonny Chirinos. I want Ranger Suarez, and I want the Philly bats. So the Philly bats that have had success against right-handed pitchers right now. So it is Sunday. Sunday's the day of rest for catchers. So we might see extra catchers, different catchers come in. So Marchand here, batting 294, 863 OPS against righties. I don't mind him. Alec Bohm batting 325 against righties on the year in 209 at-bats. Domination there. That would be a great option there. Cody Clemens might be playing. He played first base yesterday. He might be in there. He's batting 256 with 3 home runs there. Couple other ones that just jump out. Brandon Marsh against Yonny Chirinos. Love Brandon Marsh. 7 home runs, 297 batting average. Almost batting 300 there. Those would be the bats. You could look at Trey Turner. Still batting 319. Has not a ton of plate appearances, but Trey Turner makes a lot of sense for me as well. Being Sunday, we might see some regular starters being out. You could supplement someone for maybe David Dahl. David Dahl batting 263 with an 853 OPS. All of those numbers are there. Those would be the bats. I don't trust the Marlins. I just don't trust them. No one's batting over. There's Jazz is batting 275 against the lefty, and that's it. And we know Ranger Suarez has been one of the best pitchers in the league this year, if not the best pitcher so far. I would look at Ranger Suarez. I would look at the Phillies as a stack. Then we got the Yankees at the Blue Jays. You got Garrett Cole versus Kevin Gausman. Now, this one, you got to think of it this way. So Garrett Cole the Yankees are reeling. They've lost, I think, 7 of their last 10 or something. It's a ridiculous number. Garrett Cole, he's had success against the Blue Jays. 218 batting average, 218 plate appearances, 224 batting average. He is 9,000. He's got a 9 ERA. Has not faced Toronto this year. He has gave up 6 earned runs against the Mets. Minus 9.6. He has not done well for his price. I'm probably avoiding him. You got to think of it this way. He is on his 3rd start of spring training, basically. The pitchers aren't doing that well. His velocity, obviously he had an arm injury, came back. His velocity was down last start. You got to think they get about a month for spring training. A month of throwing, a month of everything. He was shut down. Then he had a couple of rehab starts and came back. I don't think he's like hurt where he's playing through it. I think if the Yankees saw something, they would pull him back because they're still in it. They're still playoff bound right now. There's no reason to push him through. I'm scared to use Garrett Cole at 9,000 against Toronto just because maybe he doesn't go deep into games. Maybe they pull him. Maybe, his velocity's down. He's still ramping up. Think of it as his spring training. I think after the All-Star break, if Garrett Cole is still like this, that's when we pump the brakes. That's when we look at it. He's got great numbers against Toronto. I don't think I can take 9,000 for him today. I just don't think I can. Then we got Kevin Gausman. Normally good, 4.26 ERA for the year. Splits-wise, he's already faced the Yankees once or twice this year, giving up 6 earned runs, no win, 2 losses, 8.53 ERA. Already gotten lit up by them. The way they're playing, I'm a little bit scared. I think Juan Soto's probably out of this lineup yet again. He's got a hand problem. If he is in, he obviously makes a lot of sense. Ben Rice, he would be a cheap first base option for you. Judge obviously makes a ton of sense. Glaber's kind of heating up. I would look at Glaber. We look at that. Aaron Judge is batting 313 against righties with 23 home runs and 60 RBIs. Is striking out 24.5%. But a 1.113 OPS. So I don't mind a Yankee stack. Verdugo, I would look at Verdugo as well. Oswaldo Cabrera, you could look at a little bit too. So I don't mind a Yankee stack here, but I just won't have pitching in this one. And then the Blue Jays, if we think they're going to have success against him, Alejandro Kirk, for whatever reason, bat in 22 at-bats against Cole, 364 batting average with 1 home run. Vladdy, 323 batting average with 2 home runs against Cole. Obviously, he's been on fire. I would look at him. You could look at maybe a little bit of Dalton Varsho for a Blue Jay stack. Not Isaiah Kiner Falefa has been absolutely on fire lately. He would be another one in a Toronto stack that I would look at. So I'm looking at more bats than I am pitching. I like the Yankees and I like Blue Jays as stacks here. Then we got the Astros at the Mets. You got Sean Dubin versus Luis Castillo. Now we look at Dubin. I believe he's a bullpen guy. Yeah, bullpen guy coming in. It's going to be an opener, so not much to go off of there. And then you've got Luis Severino, who's been pretty good. He's had success in the past against the Astros, has not faced them this year. Pitching at home, does have a better ERA. It is a pitcher's park. It is a massive park. He's coming off a dominating performance against the Cubs, 6 innings and 10 Ks. I think people are going to chase those 10 Ks, and I just don't think that should be what you do. But you never know. So we look at this. A cheaper option at 7,300. I do not mind him whatsoever. Anyone who's had success against, so offensively, I'm not using Dubin. Players that have had success BVP-wise against Severino, Yainer Diaz batting 500 with 2 home runs, 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. So both of his hits have been home runs. Jose Altuve's batting 313 against him. No home runs against him, but doing well. Jeremy Pena, 333 and 3 at-bats. Jordan would be one that I would look at. Chas McCormick would be another one if you're not using pitching. Then the Mets bats that I would look at. There's not a ton. I mean, no one's really faced Dubin. Against right-handed batters, though, Francisco Alvarez batting 319 with 2 home runs would be a Mets bat. Again, though, he's a catcher, so he might not play today. Pete Alonso batting 246, but has 12 home runs against right-handers this year. Harrison Bader batting 300 even, 4 home runs against righties. But again, that it depends. He'll go 1 inning and then the bullpen comes in, so it's very iffy that you look at. But those are the bats that I'd like, and I'd rather take Severino than Sean Dubin in here. Then we get to Patrick Corbin. I don't know how he's still pitching. His contract says he's still pitching. So you got Patrick Corbin versus Taj Bradley. And we know, and you guys have been here, we have stacked against Corbin almost every single outing. He's actually been decent the last 3 outings, or last 2 at least. Against San Diego, 7 innings. Did give up 3 earned runs, but had 5 strikeouts, no walks, 16.8 at his price is not bad. I think for tournaments, I'll take Patrick Corbin just because Tampa Bay has been bad overall, and we know that. Against lefties, they're not really like Yandy Diaz batting 304 against lefties. Palacios 333, Ahmed Rosario 301, and then that's basically it for the starters. Brandon Lau batting 304, I guess. We look at that though; they're striking out at a pretty good clip overall. Like Alex Jackson, if he's in there, striking 23 at bats against lefties, 40.7 K percentage. Ben Rortvedt 26.3 if he's in there. Randy Arozarena, Brandon Lau striking out 29.2%. Taylor Walls, 16 plate appearances, a 56.3 K percentage against lefties. Corbin could be a sneaky option just because of how bad Tampa Bay overall has been. Very bad, not ones we like, has not been showing much. I kind of like Patrick Corbin for tournaments, nothing else. Other than that, none of the bats jump out to me. Maybe they will once we do the simulations, but none jump out. I'm probably not focused on much. You could look at Taj Bradley. Washington bats really haven't done much against righties this year. Haven't faced Taj Bradley this year. Pitching at home, he's got a 2.04 ERA and 6 at-bats. He's not been bad. I don't mind Taj Bradley. I think I'd rather take pitching in this one. I think Bradley's more of your cash option. I think Patrick Corbin's more of your tournament option, and I'm really not taking bats in this one. I don't think I want anything to do with the bats whatsoever. Then we go to the next one. You got Logan Allen versus Seth Lugo. Now, this is a pitcher's park. Logan Allen, I believe he just faced them his last start, right? Let me double check. Or am I thinking something wrong? No, I'm thinking something wrong. I don't know what I'm thinking. Pitching on the road, he's actually better, but it's still a 5.11 ERA. I'm not taking Logan Allen. If I'm looking at any pitching in here, it is Seth Lugo. But the problem is Cleveland's a really good hitting team. He's already faced them once this year and gave up 5 earned runs. I'm probably off of both pitching. I'm probably on the bats here is where I would look at, is where I would focus my attention. Not the pitching, but the bats. Anyone who's had success against Lugo, there's not much, 3 to 4 plate appearances apiece. But the bats that I would look at, Josh Naylor, he's got 15 home runs against righties. Jose Ramirez has also 15 home runs against righties. Those would be the top 2 that I'd look at. Bo Naylor could be in there. I don't know if I'll be using him much. Again, it depends who is in there for batting. Stephen Kwan makes a lot of sense, batting .353 against right-handed pitching with 6 home runs and a .984 OPS. So those would be the bats that I'd look at on the Cleveland side. And then the Kansas City side. We usually love to take batters against lefties here. For Kansas City, Salvador Perez, 2 home runs, .299 batting average against lefties. I would look at him. Michael Garcia, .254 batting average, only striking out 6.1% of the time against righties or against lefties. I would look at him. You got Vinny Pasquantino, .246 batting average. You got Bobby Witt Jr. Those would be the ones that I'd look at. Cheaper options, depending on who's going to be in that lineup. Freddie Fermin could be batting here. Today, if he's in that lineup, he's got a .341 batting average against lefties. So those are the bats that I'd like. I'm not looking at the pitching there. Then you got the Rockies at the White Sox. Now, the Rockies are the 5th most strikeout-prone team this year so far, and Garrett Crochet has been dealing when he's pitching. So if we look at Garrett Crochet, I would rather pay up to $10,200 than to pay $9,000 for Cole. So Crochet, 6 strikeouts, 8, 13, 10, 8. Like, they're there. We know that they're there. He has not faced Colorado this year. But we look at Colorado against left-handed pitching. There's people that have had success, but the strikeout rate is pretty massive here. Jacob Stallings got a .333 batting average against lefties, striking out 30.4% of the time. Ryan McMahon, a .322 batting average, striking out 29.4%. Brendan Rodgers has a lot of success against righties. So if you aren't going Crochet, I would look at Brendan Rodgers for sure. You could look at Jacob Stallings. Charlie Blackmon, lefty on lefty matchup, he's hitting .341 against him and only striking out 2% of the time. He could be a cheap, sneaky option for a Colorado stack. Hunter Goodman, .250 batting average with 4 home runs. Ezekiel Tovar, .287 batting average with 5 home runs. I would still rather take Crochet in this matchup here. I would take him over Kyle Freeland. Freeland has been pretty bad overall. So we look at Freeland. He's all the way down here. 9.55 ERA. He is coming off a good start against Washington, and I understand that the White Sox aren't the best hitting team. I guess you could go Freeland for tournaments because of how bad the White Sox have been and the fact that he's 5,800. Like if you took Freeland and Corbin and you stacked them together, now this would be if you make multiple lineups. This would not be if you do one lineup. But you're able to average almost 5,000 per other position. This would be multiple different lineups that you're making. I don't mind that. I don't think it goes off unless you find the perfect hitters for every single bat. But if we look at this, the batters here, the White Sox batters, Eloy batting .333 against Freeland. Not much. No one's really had a ton of success against them, which is wild. But then if you look overall on the year against lefty batters, Corey Lee batting .280 in 50 plate appearances. Corey Julks batting .286 with a home run. Luis Robert Jr. only batting .238. You've got Eloy only batting .222. It could, if you look at these batters, you look at all of the batter splits, you look at everything else. Kyle Freeland at this price, sneaky. It will depend on the weather though, and weather looks to be good. I honestly, for tournaments, I do not mind Kyle Freeland. So cheap. I think Garrett Crochet is both cash or tournament. I think Kyle Freeland's only tournament. And those are kind of the breakdown of that game that we'd look at. Then you got the Cubs at the Brewers. Really don't know what to expect out of Kyle Hendricks. Always kind of scared to use Kyle Hindy here. We've liked to stack against him. He's got a 6.87 ERA. His past couple of starts have been pretty good. Has not given up any earned runs, or hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs since May 29th. But he's a bullpen. Going up against Milwaukee does scare me a little bit. He's already faced them once this year, only went 3.2 innings. That is kind of what scares me, though. We look at the Milwaukee bats against Kyle Hendricks. Anyone who's had success, William Contreras, 364 batting average and 11 at-bats, no home runs. Other than that, they really haven't done much against it. I mean, Yelich batting 238 with 2 home runs. That's it. Milwaukee bats against righties, though. Willie Adames, 252 batting average, 11 home runs against righties. Rhys Hoskins has 9 home runs against righties. Jackson Chourio has 8 home runs against righties. I think Kyle Hendricks could be a tournament option. If I'm not using Hendricks and I'm looking at the bats here, I don't mind Bryce Terang, to be honest. I don't mind Jackson Chourio. I don't mind Christian Yelich or Rhys Hoskins or Willie Adames. There are some bats that I like. Then you got Freddie Peralta. So Peralta comes in 9,800. It does have a 4 ERA. He's already faced the Cubs twice this year, giving up only 4 earned runs with 16 Ks, averaging 19.5 fantasy points against him, against the Cubs. I don't mind Freddie Peralta. The Cubs bats they don't really jump out. I mean, David Bodie, 12 at-bats, batting 417, but only 12 at-bats, so not much. Christian Morel does have 11 home runs with a 202 batting average against righties. Nico Horner has 3 home runs. Dansby Swanson has 6. But then if we look at any BVP there's not much to go off of. I'd rather take Freddie Peralta. I think he could have 8+ strikeouts in this game. Hendricks for tournaments, Peralta for cash. Lean a little bit more towards the Milwaukee bats than anything else. Then we got the Reds at the Cardinals. Reds at the Cardinals is the final game on this early slate. You've got Hunter Green versus Lance Lynn, which hasn't been too bad overall. So we look at coming in. Where am I? There, Hunter Green right here. 3.79 ERA, splits-wise. On the road, he's been better, 2.59. He has not faced the Cardinals this year. Coming off a pretty bad game against Pittsburgh, though, 1.6 fantasy points. Then had a good game against Pittsburgh before that, so maybe it was just a fluke. We look at that, though. He's pitching on the road. He's got a 2.59 ERA on the road. Not too shabby, to be completely honest with you. The majority of the team, they don't hit righties very well. Alec Burleson batting 312 with 9 home runs. That's one. Nolan Gorman, 199 batting average with 12 home runs. But Nolan Gorman has been one of the coldest batters in recent time. Had an RBI and a walk in that game. 1 hit. I saw the stats on him, and he's been ice cold over his last since April. He started off very hot, and he's been just very, very ice cold. So that's one that I would not look at. To be honest with you, I kind of like Hunter Green here. And then you got Lance Lynn coming in. I don't understand. He does well, and then he doesn't do well. He had a really good game against Atlanta, which makes no sense to me because Atlanta's a really good hitting team. But then against Miami, gave up 10 hits and 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Up and down, up and down. He's already faced Cincy once this year. Got the loss in that one, gave up 3 runs, 1 of them earned. So he didn't do too bad. But I kind of like Cincy bats here. Candelario, Ellie De La Cruz. I would look at Will Benson. A little bit of Tyler Stevenson, but again, it's a Sunday, he might not play. And anyone who's had success against him, like Jonathan India, batting 400 in 5 plate appearances, 1 home run. Candelario has 1 home run. Not a ton of success, but I might have a little bit of Lance Lynn in tournaments because if this was in Cincy, I probably would not. I would have Hunter Green for cash or tournaments. I would have Lance Lynn in tournaments. Cardinals bats, none really scare me in this game outside of the ones we talked about. So there you have it. That is the main slate broken down. We do have some weather concerns. New York Mets, Philly, Boston. So we had 9 games on the main. We have 4 games on this afternoon slate. The first one, and this is what I'll tell you. James Paxton versus to be announced day of. They have so many injuries to the San Francisco Giants rotation. We never know who's going to pitch. They believe it's going to be Rodriguez. Okay. He last pitched on Tuesday. Only went, he's a bullpen guy. Coming in, that's not what I want. I'd rather take the Dodgers offense here. Obviously, and this is where I'll tell you, I think we're a little bit different than other DFS providers. Yesterday, I absolutely loved Tyler Glasnow. Got shelled for whatever reason. So I told you I wasn't there. I was going on the lake, so I didn't have any reception all day. I didn't see anything, and that's why there was no MMA content. I pushed the MMA content out there, but it didn't update on the server. So when I pushed it through to the website, the cheat sheet was blank, and I couldn't do anything on my phone. So I do apologize. But I came back at night, and I looked, and I saw that a lot of the team, like we had a lot of people have success. They showed it in the Discord this morning or last night and this morning so far. But yeah, a lot of the plays, it's wild. We still made money, but like Glasnow getting shelled was wild to me. But yeah, so before we get into this game, the keyword of the day is merchandise, because buy some merch. We got this as a sticker. We have it on a coffee cup. We have it on shirts, hats, polos, t-shirts. Anything helps the channel out, guys. The link will be down below. I can even link in the Discord if needed. So definitely check us out, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Go check out the Discord as well. So we don't know who's pitching for San Francisco, outside of who they believe, and it might be an opener, then it's a bullpen. I obviously would look at the Dodgers as a stack, but we really can't dig in as much. But Freddie Freeman, Kike Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, Will Smith if he's in there. If it's not Will Smith, it's probably Austin Barnes. I would take a Dodgers stack here. But again, we can't really go over it because we don't really know. And then we got James Paxton. I don't understand how he's done decent. You got Paxton here, but pitching on the road, got almost a 4 ERA. Has already faced the Giants once this year, but had success. 5 strikeouts there. Had a couple of great games, 3 games in a row, and then a bad game against Pittsburgh. Pretty bad against the Mets. Bad. He's been decent. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with Paxton. Outside of that, if we don't think Paxton's going to do well and you want to look at some of these San Francisco bats, Patrick Bailey against lefties, 294 batting average. I don't mind him. Jorge Soler batting 230 but has 3 home runs. Matt Chapman batting 333 with 3 home runs as well. Conforto batting 286, lefty on lefty matchup, has 3 home runs there. And then Elliot Ramos against lefties this year in 44 plate appearances, a 409 batting average, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. I don't mind those bats for the Giants if we're taking that for this game. Then we move at the Tigers. At the Angels, you got Casey Mize versus Tyler Anderson. Just like last week, or his last start, I wanted nothing to do with Casey Mize, and I wanted to stack against him. And that's what we did. In that game against Philly, gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned, but did have 10 strikeouts. So if he wouldn't have given up those earned runs, he was still looking at 30-plus fantasy points there. So it wasn't too bad. But he's given up a ton of earned runs. Pitching on the road's got a 5.93 ERA. The Angels bats that have none have really seen him, but there are ones that bat really well against righties. Like Willie Calhoun, 130 plate appearances, 292 batting average with 2 home runs. Logan O'Hoppe batting 288 against righties, has 9 home runs. Those would be top 2 that I'd look at. Zach Neto has 9 home runs this year against righties. Luis Rengifo, 5 home runs. Nolan Chenul, 7 home runs. Joe Adell, 6 home runs. There are a ton of home runs for this Angels team. that I think I like them. Those bats are the ones that I like for the Angels. I don't like Casey Mize. I'm not taking Casey Mize. I could see him getting lit up here. Tyler Anderson, on the other hand, has been a surprise this year, I should say. Anderson, no one's really had a ton of success against him. No one's really seen him for this team. And against left-handed pitching, if we're not going Anderson, I will have some exposure to Anderson. But if we're looking at Detroit bats, Andy Ibanez batting .385 against lefties in 65 plate appearances with 2 home runs. Carson Kelly, if he's in there, .273 batting average. Matt Vierling, .257 batting average. Wenzel Perez batting .288 with a home run. But again, I kind of like Tyler Anderson for 6+ strikeouts in this game. I would not be surprised at that whatsoever. That's kind of what I would look at here. I don't want Mize. I'll take a little bit of Anderson. Then you got the Athletics at the Diamondbacks. You got Luis Medina versus Brandon Pfaadt. I don't want anything to do with Medina. I'd rather take the Arizona bats, and I'd rather take Brandon Pfaadt for tournaments only. But we got Brandon Pfaadt coming in. Has not faced Oakland this year. The problem is at home. Well, he's got a better ERA at home at 3.74. It's still up there at 3.74, though. And he really hasn't done anything the past couple of starts against Minnesota and Washington. And then if we look at the Oakland bats against righties, McCann has .289 batting average with 3 home runs. Zach Gelof, .210 batting average with 6 home runs. Soderstrom has 7 home runs. J.J. Bleday has 8 home runs against righties, but Brent Rooker has 9 home runs against righties just this year. I think Oakland could be a sneaky stack. To be honest, if you dig into the numbers, you could be looking at those bats for Oakland being a sneaky stack here against righty bat and against Brandon Pfaadt. They really haven't seen, no one's seen Pfaadt before, but against righties, they've been pretty decent. Langoliers has 12 home runs, batting .208 with 12 home runs. I think an Oakland stack could be sneaky with this 4-game little afternoon slate. So wouldn't be surprised there. I'm probably off of both pitching. Arizona bats that have success against right-handed pitching. Jock Peterson with 9 home runs, .286 batting average. We have Corbin Carroll only has 1 home run against righties, .221 batting average, so kind of low. Newman, .274 batting average and 106 plate appearances. There are some bats, but, against Medina, they really haven't seen him much. Christian Walker has a home run against him. Corbin Carroll has a home run against him. So I would rather and then you could look at Medina a little bit. He has 6,300 game log. He really hasn't done much lately, though. That's the only problem. Has not faced Arizona this year. 525. I'd rather stick with Arizona bats and maybe fought for tournaments, but that's it. And if you want to go Medina at tournaments because he is 6,300, that's okay with me as well. Then you've got the Twins at the Mariners to wrap up the day because this is the Sunday Night Baseball game. Joe Ryan versus Luis Castillo. Now, the Mariners strike out the most out of any team overall. Joe Ryan coming in game log-wise. He has not faced Seattle this year. Pitching on the road, he has a better ERA, 2.92, and the Mariners do strike out a ton. He already has 100 strikeouts on the year. Coming off of 5.5, 5.8. I could see 8+ out of him today. That's what I could see in this game. So we look at that. We kind of look at this game. Joe Ryan, I love Joe Ryan. Both cash and tournament, I do not mind. Then you got Luis Castillo. Against Minnesota, but he has got a couple of bad games, got 9 earned runs. He's given up 4, 5, 2, 5. So he started off very slow, then had a stretch of some pretty good games here. Then he's been up and down. Now he's going up against a Minnesota team that they can hit. At that price, I'm a little bit scared of that. Batters who've had success against Luis Castillo on this team, there's not a ton. I mean, Max Kepler has a home run, Santana has a home run. That's it overall. Not much going on. But against right-handed batters this year, the Twins bats, Jose Miranda batting .317 with 6 home runs. Santana has 7 home runs. Buxton has 5. Kepler has 5. Trevor Larnach has 7. Ryan Jeffers has 9 home runs against righties. I kind of feel like I know how good Luis Castillo is. I kind of feel a Minnesota stack with the batters we just talked about and Joe Ryan is the way to go in this one. So I love Joe Ryan. I'm probably personally fading Luis Castillo, and I'm fading the Mariners bats overall. Just seeing if anyone's had success. Mitch Garver's got 1 home run against him. Dylan Moore's batting 3 for 4 with a home run against Joe Ryan. Julio Rodriguez is 3 for 6 with a home run. That's about it. I'd rather take Joe Ryan for the strikeout percentage against the Mariners and then stack the Twins against Luis Castillo. And that's it. That's the breakdown of the entire main slate, then the afternoon slate, the bats, the pitchers, the stats. We had it all for you. If you liked it this way, let me know if you liked the video. Don't forget the keyword we already talked about. And now we are going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. These include every single game, so it could be the 11:35 Eastern game or the Sunday Night Baseball game. It includes every one of them, and then after this, we're going to give you all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating to help you build on. If you want to see these are part of the simulations. These are through 10,000 simulations. We'll only have 10,000 today because the main slate locks early. We do 20,000 if the main slate locks at nighttime. But check out the MLB tab from player projections, simulation models, all the way down to ballpark ratings and umpire factors. We've got it all for you. Go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So, that being said, Gunnar Henderson, number 1. Number 2 is Aaron Judge. Number 3 is Brandon Marsh. 4 is Bobby Witt Jr. 5 is Jake Cronenworth. 6 is Isaac Paredes. 7, Christian Walker. 8, Trey Turner. 9, Jurickson Profar. 10, Adley. 11, Bryson Stott. 12, Jarren Duran. 13, Ellie De La Cruz. 14, Riley Green. 15, Shohei. 16, Alec Bohm. 17, JJ Bleday. 18, Carlos Correa. 19, Randy Arozarena. And number 20 is Francisco Lindor. And then the 10 out of 10 matchups, we've got a ton today. We did not the other day, but we do right now. Number 1, Gunnar. Number 2 is Aaron Judge. 3, Bobby Witt Jr. 4, Jake Cronenworth. 5, Isaac Paredes. 6, Christian Walker. 7, Riley Green. Jurickson Profar. 8, Riley Green. 9, JJ Bleday. 10, Carlos Correa. 11 is Randy Arozarena. 12 is Luis Robert Jr. 13, Marcell Ozuna. 14, Nelson Velasquez. 15, Vinny Pasquantino. 16, Carlos Santana. 17, Geraldo Perdomo. 18, Thairo Estrada. 19, Mark Canha. Number 20, Lenyn Sosa. And number 21, Ryan Jeffers versus Luis Castillo. So there you have it. There's the breakdown, the entire slate, every single game. Checked it out. We looked at it. We loved it. On top of that, if you want to check out all of the content, we do have sports betting on top of that, which we will use some of the insights we just talked about to find some of the best sports bets that we can. So those are there. Check it out. Good luck to everyone. Congratulations. The pitches be crazy. We did forget about the pitches be crazy. We already talked about it throughout the day or throughout the video, but number 1 is Joe Ryan. Number 2 is Brandon Pfaadt versus Oakland. I wouldn't use Pfaadt for DFS, but I would use Pfaadt for the pitches be crazy, or if we can look at their, what we can do is we could look at their prop bets and do that for sports betting. Number 3 is Spencer Schwellenbach versus Pittsburgh. Number 4 is Matt Waldron at Boston. And number 5, Garrett Crochet versus the Colorado Rockies. So there you have it. That is the breakdown. If you have questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. Get that in the Discord. You can always tweet at us, or whatever we call it now on X, at advisors_team. We've got it all for you. That's what we've got. Good luck today on today's slate. Don't forget to check out the merch. Check out the website. That's what I've got. Good luck, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.